7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kasmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. NDC General Secretary Fifi Kwete exposes lawyers cutting deals to shield former officials, threatening credibility of government anti-corruption promises.
Punishment must be exacted and things have to be done. Some among us are busy trying to cut deals with people who are supposed to be prosecuted. Some are becoming convicts through whom pressure is being brought to bear on people who are supposed to do what is right.
We'll bring you more of that. Also coming up, a Minister for Communications chairing stakeholder committee meeting with MultiChoice Ghana to evaluate and agree to DSTV pricing in the country. And much later on the program, Ghanaians waiting with bated breath as Black Stars take on Mali tonight in a crucial World Cup qualifier. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Now the alarm bells have gone off. The sirens blasting loudly over possible corrupt deals under the current administration. The revelation by General Secretary of the NDC Fifi Kwete of some lawyers cutting deals to prevent the jailing of former government appointees under the government much touted oral program has not only raised eyebrows, it has left many wondering if the promise to jail corrupt officials was only a promise to win political power. Addressing legal practitioners affiliated to the governing party at a forum, the General Secretary of the governing party warned against acts which will put a spanner in the works of the current government in exerting accountability.
We at the level of the party are picking the signals. And the signals we are picking is this: that many among us, in spite of the fact that please and the pressure coming from the public that the things have to be done properly, punishment must be exacted, and things have to be done. Some among us are busy trying to cut deals with people who are supposed to be prosecuted. Some among us are trying to cut deals. Some are becoming convicts through whom pressure is being brought to bear on people who are supposed to do what is right. I'm not mentioning names. A time will come where we may have to. A word to the wise. Some know themselves, those who are. We are hearing your names. Think again. Because this victory was achieved largely because the people of Ghana wanted the right things done.
And you heard there the General Secretary of the governing NDC, Fifi Kwete. Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayene also spoke at that same event. Listen to what he also said.
When we defend the poor and vulnerable in court, we give life to Article 17's promise of equality. When we hold government accountable for misuse of public resources, we honor Article 35(8) of the Constitution, which enjoins the state to prevent corruption and the abuse of power. When we protect workers against abuse, farmers, market women, and the marginalized, we affirm the NDC social democratic heritage that governance must be people-centered and justice-driven. As SOA JSC stated in 2004 and Attorney General 1980 Ghana Law Report 637, our Constitution is a living document intended to meet the needs of our society. That living spirit is social justice, and it is our duty to nurture the spirit and sustain it. The NDC, since its inception, has positioned itself as a custodian of these values.
And you have Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayene. Let's speak to anti-graft crusader Beatrice Adu. He joins us live on the phone. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I don't know whether you had the opportunity to listen to Fifi Kwete raising the alarm over some government officials apparently cutting deals with those who are supposed to be going to jail for corrupt activities. What does this mean to the fight of corruption?
Well, this is very unfortunate that some lawyers are doing. It's good that the alarm is raised by the General Secretary of the NDC and that the Attorney General too has spoken about it. This shows that maybe those in power or in a position to act are willing to act, irrespective of whatever attempts to influence them in doing their work. Of course, it's unfortunate because this is just not a one-time thing. There have been stories in the past where it was found that lawyers sometimes would tell their clients, please give me some money for me to go and give to the judge so that you get a favorable ruling. It has been happening in the past. But now that we're hearing public officers talking about it, maybe it's a good sign that they are not willing to bend themselves to what is coming from these lawyers.
It's a good sign, you say. Let me acknowledge that we also do have on the line with us private legal practitioner Austin Brackle-Powers. But let me ask you this before I go to Lawyer Brackle-Powers. There are those who are arguing that perhaps this could be about people's level of confidence in the judiciary. So let's even settle the matter before we go there.
I don't think that that's the case. When you use the word cutting deals, it is not like advocating, but probably, for me, I see it as paying monies to get the judge to bend the rules. And that's the unfortunate part. If it is a legal way of, like, okay, I am ready to pay this as compensation to the government, so that you'll be more, I mean, there's a method, I've forgotten, but that you can use to get the rules a bit lighter, or maybe the sentence lighter on you. If it is that official channels, that is fine. But when you use the term cutting deals, it's like you are bribing people to influence them in taking decisions on the cases that are before them. And that's the unfortunate part of it.
I want you to hold on, Mr. Azim, whilst I get a thought of Lawyer Brackle-Powers there. Mr. Brackle-Powers, I'm just wondering whether this comes to you as a surprise, the revelation from the NDC General Secretary.
Yeah, so the question is, Beatrice, are you shocked? For me, I'm not in the least surprised. And it must be stated that we didn't need Fifi Kwete's revelation to tell us the true state of the NDC's, one of their major campaign promises, Operation Recover or Lose. The thing is that the first action of the AG, whereby he discontinued a string of high-profile cases against some NDC members facing trial, says it all. And I see this as a usual campaign promise. And it must be, the point must be made clear that the fact that you claim or you suspect someone to may have engaged in some financial malfeasance does not mean that the person is guilty. So, Fifi Kwete's commentary, in one way, it's in a way just concluding that some so-called people are guilty. That's not the case. And it is not for his determination to make that comment, because it is the appropriate forum, that is the Court of Competent Jurisdiction, that has the duty to decide or pronounce as to whether or not a party is guilty or not guilty. But by and large, here is a catch. I think the NDC faces an inherent risk in the next election if they are unable to implement the ORA, because it is one of their major campaign promises. But, I mean, Beatrice, I'm not in the least surprised.
You're not in the least surprised, and you're warning that if the government fails to fulfill this promise, it would suffer at the 2028 elections. But if I heard your earlier comment, were you suggesting that perhaps this, looking at the attitude of people now being reviewed by the General Secretary, it was just to gain political power? Is that what you said earlier?
Is it? That's what I'm saying, that when you look at the posture of the Attorney General, even just 1 month after they took office, it is that alone is pregnant. It has a lot of things, whereby it is continued actions against NDC members who are facing various trials for some economic loss to the state. You discontinue those cases and you let them go. Which is, what does that tell you? The thing is that already the Attorney General has set the tone. So if NDC members or NDC lawyers are cutting deals, that should tell you that even the one who is supposed to be in charge of prosecutorial or who's in charge of prosecution has already started cutting deals. How much more the lawyers in the party?
So you're claiming that the government is not serious at tackling corruption. Is that what you're claiming?
Which is, the government has not shown any seriousness in handling corruption by its first actions. And if they want us to take them seriously, they must set the right tone. Those members who are, the thing is that, which is, you cannot pick and choose. When you come and your members are facing trials, you must prosecute them. Because government is a continuous business. You can't come and say, I'm only coming to prosecute another party and leave my party who are being found, who the Attorney General claim or believe that they may have caused economic loss to the state. You must, as a government, you must be dutiful, you must be impassionate, and you must not take sides. But with what this government has, the tone in regard to corruption, I don't think they sounded the right tone when it comes to corruption fight. And I'm afraid I don't see them fighting corruption as they promise us. Let me
get this from you very quickly, and I'll get the final word from Mr. Azim. Mr. Azim explained that he doesn't think cutting ways, as it were, means that the people do not want to go to court. They rather want to get some sort of favorable judgment for the individuals who have been accused. Is that how you interpret it from the point of the law?
No. Beatrice, first off, it must be noted that, when a party causes economic loss to the state, there's an opportunity for that party to opt as to whether or not he or she will want to compensate the state for that. In that realm, it is okay, but you cannot do that at the blind side of the court. The court must be involved. The court must have it on record that this person was arraigned and the person opted to compensate the state in lieu of jail term or jail time. But when you do that at the blind side of the court, that is not proper. It is not appropriate for them. In the end, when there's a new government, the new government can decide to pursue you because there's no evidence on record that you have indeed been relieved of those charges that have been leveled against you. So even though I agree with the anti-graft
Mr. Azim.
Yes, Mr. Azim. I think the thing is that you must regularize it. Everything must be regularized. And I've always said that those who are cutting deals, it is to their detriment. If you are cutting deals at the blind side of the court, what you say is that the percentage you are paying to the government is not on record. That means the next government can pursue you and handle you for that. So make sure that any deal you cut with either the Attorney General or any representative of the government.
Ended here. Thank you very much. And you had the lawyer Bracco Powers, Justin Bracco Powers, there sharing his views with us. Mr. Azim is still on the line with us. Very briefly, Mr. Azim, I'm sure you heard lawyer Bracco Powers there thinking or saying that he doesn't believe the government is that committed to the fight against corruption. Your thoughts?
Well, the initial action by the Attorney General, especially with regards to NDC-affiliated persons, actually gave an impression that this government was not interested in fighting corruption. And that was an unfortunate thing that they did, just coming to pardon or withdraw cases involving NDC top people. That was very unfortunate. But we still have to wait and see the people that were brought before the order, especially those that are NDC, if there were people that were NDC as well. We have to see how the Attorney General will handle them. So before we can actually conclude that the government is not serious about fighting corruption.
All right. Right, we'll end it here. Thank you so much. And you heard Vitus Azim. He's an anti-graft campaigner. Earlier you heard lawyer Justin Bracco Power sharing their thought on the revelation by the General Secretary of the NDC that some lawyers are cutting deals to prevent those who have been accused of corruption from going to jail. Now, this afternoon, the Minister for Communications is chairing a stakeholder committee meeting with MultiChoice Ghana to evaluate and agree to DSTV pricing in the country. This follows an earlier warning to shut down DSTV's operations last Saturday after the company denied the minister's announcement that the two parties had agreed to a price reduction. We know that the company has accumulated some 250,000 cedis in fine since August 15 after its failure to submit essential pricing data. Our reporter Christian Yale is picking information from that meeting. He joins us live on the line. Chris, if you can tell us whether the meeting has started and what we do know so far.
What we know is that the minister himself, Sam George, is chairing this stakeholder meeting with MultiChoice Ghana. The expectation is that under this meeting, they will get to examine the arguments for and against the need for a price reduction concerning DSTV subscription in the country. And then, as we know, even from the announcement the minister made last Friday after his press conference or during that press engagement, they have about 14-day window, a 14-day window within which there should be a conclusion to this back and forth concerning the subscription fees in this country. And so we understand from the insider information we are taking that the meeting should be in session as of now. It is being held in camera or back door, and so the media is not allowed to have a view of what is happening. But what we understand from my earlier engagement with the minister, after the meeting is done, within that 14 days, once everything is settled, there should be a report or an official statement announcing what has been agreed upon and whether there will be some relief for consumers or not.
And Chris, before you go, should Ghanaians anticipate a DSTV price reduction even before the 14 days? Do you know?
That is something that we cannot speak exactly to because it has been back and forth with it being the MultiChoice Ghana issuing a statement shortly after the minister's press briefing on Friday that they deny what the minister had said, that MultiChoice Ghana has agreed to a reduction in the pricing, which means that, take it or leave it, there seems to be that variance concerning what their personal or backdoor conversations have been concerning this matter. We know the minister even issued a statement after that statement by MultiChoice later in the day on Friday that if MultiChoice had decided to change their mind, then the ministry would go ahead to shut down the operations of MultiChoice Ghana or DSTV in the country last Saturday. But shortly after that one too, we know that MultiChoice issued a statement agreeing to this stakeholder meeting that is currently underway or is starting today. And so it means that it will be something of a deadlock at a point, but we know that at the end of everything, we just anticipate that consumers would see a reduction in their subscription fees. Also because when you check the rates as compared to even our neighboring country, Nigeria, then you realize that Ghanaians are paying far more than even Nigerians are paying. And so there is that need for a fair ground between the two parties, which is what we are looking forward to at the end of this meeting.
Thank you very much, Christian Yale. He's our reporter monitoring that committee meeting chaired by the Communications Minister, Sam George, with MultiChoice. And of course, we'll bring you more as and when we have it. Some 19 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll bring you some more regarding the communal conflict in the Bole and Sola areas in the northern part of the country. Don't go away.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
Some 20 minutes past the hour of 12. This is still the midday news here on Ashru FM 92.7. Thank you so much for staying. Now, the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association is set to embark on an exercise to enforce strict compliance with the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC Act 2013, Act 865. Specifically, Section 27.1, starting today, the 8th of September 2025. This move aims to ensure that foreign nationals do not engage in petty trading in key business hubs like Abosokai, as stipulated by the law. The association argues that successive governments have failed to enforce this act, resulting in unfair competition that undermines the livelihoods of Ghanaian traders and weakens local entrepreneurship. Let's take you through what the GIPC Act says on foreigners not engaging in retailing in Ghana. And like I just told you, Section 27.1 says a person who is not a citizen or an enterprise which is not wholly owned by citizens shall not invest or participate in the sale of goods or provision of services in a market, petty trading or hawking or selling of goods installed at any place. And let's hear the Director of Communications for Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers, Beatrice Adu, speaking to reporter earlier.
We are still sitting on this particular act. More than 35 years, we don't have clear cut about how we can manage and solve our problems. Even though there's ECOWAS treaty protocols that is governing every West Africa sub-region, but we have our own laws. Ghana Investment Promotion Center, the Act 865, Section 27.1, making it clear petty trading, hawking, saloon, taxi, in local parlance, we call it Bojo Bojo Juma. This petty trading belongs to the citizens of Ghana. As we are speaking today, across the length and breadth of Ghana, you can see these people invading our markets. The law says they should supply, not retailing, but rather they are supplying the goods and retailing at the same time. Here, our importers will supply to a foreigner directly because some of the Ghanaians are supporting these people. And we are saying enough is enough. We are going to exercise our rights. We are not going to enforce the law, but we are going to act on the law.
And you heard the Beatrice Adu. He is the Director of Communications for the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association, and we'll bring you some more as and when we do have it. And you're still here on the news on Ashru FM 92.7. Now, as city authorities in Kumasi work to solve the perennial problem of flooding on major streets, their progress is being washed away by a persistent problem: indiscriminate dumping of waste. The very drainages are designed to channel water away are being clogged with plastic and refuse, turning solutions into part of the problem. The situation is particularly severe on the Asqua interchange to Ahojo roundabout road, where a key drainage has been completely swallowed by plastic waste. Now, with national sanitation campaigns underway, it's enough being done. Ibrahim Abubakar is on the ground for us. He joins us live on the phone. Ibrahim, just how critical is this blockade and how it affects those around?
Well, Beatrice, when you look at that area, I can tell you that no city authority can convince me that they are unaware, because it's on the main road, and the entire drainage has been blocked, and in fact, it's been silted heavily. So, all the plastic waste that move from other parts of Kumasi, joining the Subin drain to the side, always remains there. And anytime it rains, the entire place gets flooded. In fact, sometimes it even goes beyond that area to even on the main road. And aside that, there are also issues because people who are living around complain that they record a lot of health-related disease, talk about malaria and also other sanitation-related disease rather. And for that matter, they are expecting the authorities to do something about it and make sure they clear it. Because anytime they desilt the choke drains, they end up putting the sand very close to the drainage, which ends up coming back. And for that matter, it silts the entire area. So even as the government intensifies its sanitation campaign effort, they want to see some of these activities being undertaken in those areas to make sure that the clean Kumasi that we all desire for is being achieved.
I want us to listen to some residents and then we'll come back to conclude our conversation, Ibrahim.
Roberts no su gumu sa ji so mo mbete sa Roberts no o mbete sa ene kaka na aka no mo sa di jatum o ma hye no to mo hye no so a na no so ho enko na se tamu sa nso to a na yira fa bridge no so enko
ko e production yi ntontom na nse malaria chiche boys ni wa onza boys ni bi da boy ko e che no aka ni ti senka pese nko obetim mai because maybe twem ga na so no betim kaka
Roberts no su gumu sa ji so mo mbete sa Roberts no o mbete sa ene kaka na aka no mo sa di jatum o ma hye no to mo hye no so a na no so ho enko na se tamu sa nso to a na yira fa bridge no so enko
ko e production yi ntontom na nse malaria chiche boys ni wa onza boys ni bi da boy ko e che no aka ni ti senka pese nko obetim mai because maybe twem ga na so no betim kaka
Roberts no su gumu sa ji so mo mbete sa Roberts no o mbete sa ene kaka na aka no mo sa.
And you had there some residents of the Ashanti region. Ibrahim Abubakar, if you can tell us briefly what they were saying and what city authorities are saying about dealing with the problem, briefly.
Well, basically, what that they are saying is that the situation has lingered on for a number of months. They have complained over and over that it appears anytime an action is being taken, it is not that effective because, like I said, they will dissolve the choke drainage, the sand, and very close, and it will end up going back there. So that's how come these refuse get stuck there. So they want something different to be done in the coming days so that at least the place will be clean for them to also be free from some of these sanitation-related diseases such as malaria and the like. In fact, we have engaged city authorities on the issue, and they said we should give them some few days. They will take action and make sure that they devise a strategy to ensure these things doesn't reoccur.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Abubakar, Ashanti Regional Correspondent. Now, in a high-stake clash on scheduled for today, the 8th of September 2025, the Black Stars will play host to the Eagles of Mali at the Accra Sports Stadium with an expected victory crucial to the team's qualification chances to the FIFA World Cup. The Black Stars completed their final training session in preparations for the match on Sunday. Meanwhile, expectations remain high for a win against Mali. And we do understand the game is at 7 p.m. today. You want to stay tuned in for some more. Hopefully the Black Stars win. We wish them all the best tonight. Before we go, President John Mahama will host a presidential media encounter on Wednesday, the 10th of September 2025. The event is scheduled to take place at the presidency at 8 p.m. The encounter will provide a unique platform for President Mahama to engage the Ghanaian people through the media on pressing national issues, his resetting agenda, Ghana agenda policies and ongoing projects. Thank Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon on the Midday News on Shri FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Log on to shrinews.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
Gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7 with me, Michael Obudu. Coming up, Ghana Union of Traders Association GUTA backs Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association closure to enforce trade law against foreign retailers. We hear from President Dr. Joseph Obing, who says members have lost over 60% of market share to foreigners.
Over 50% of the market share have been taken away from us. Now the foreigners are controlling over 40% of the market share.
We'll take you live to Abosokai and bring you updates from our reporters on the ground. Now, away from that, also, new IMF resident representative for Ghana, Dr. Adrian Alta, begins work on 5th program review after transition from Dr. Leandro Beni Medina. We'll bring you details. Stay with us. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. And the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, has declared its support for the ongoing industrial action by the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association to enforce Ghana's trade laws restricting foreigners from retail trading. The spare parts dealers earlier announced that the action, anchored on the Ghana Investment Promotion Center GIPC Act 2013, Act 865, seeks to ensure compliance with provisions that bar non-citizens from petty trading, hawking, and operating stores in local markets. Speaking to 3 Business, GUTA President Joseph Obing says about 60% of the trading space has been taken over by foreigners.
Over 50% of the market share is now has been taken away from us. Now the foreigners are controlling over 40% of the market share, leaving us with just a small. Yeah, I've told you several times that the import that we do into the country, the local share is barely about 20%. The remaining 80% or so is being imported by these foreigners who bring in thousands upon thousands upon thousands of containers into this country without even bringing the correspondent forest to shore up our depleting forests. But it's not good even for the country. They bring these imported goods without any correspondent fund.
So that was President of the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, Joseph Obing there. But we'll take you live to Abosokai, where my colleague George Cranian currently is on the grounds to test the mood of the area as we speak at the moment. George, thank you so much for your time. How is Abosokai looking at the moment? Has the enforcement begun?
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael, for having me. So clearly, yeah, the enforcement has begun as some shops of foreigners have been actually closed. And so the Secretary of the Association, Techi, is there to take me to these shops to show me, yes, that really the exercise has actually started. So clearly, this is actually an exercise to ensure the strict compliance of GIPC Act
That's Act 865, particularly clause 20, section 27, clause 1 of the very, very law. And for them, successive governments have failed to actually enforce this very law. So that's actually undermined the livelihoods of local businesses and local entrepreneurship. So for them, this is the right time for them to actually uphold this very law and ensure that they actually execute it to the latter. So clearly, that's what it is. Like some shops, of course, I can confirm have been closed.
Okay. If Titi is close to you, maybe we can engage him shortly and find out what the level of compliance has been.
I'm actually walking to some of these shops, but Titi is not close.
But if we, to move the conversation further, have you noticed any form of resistance from these foreigners? Have you cited any of them around their shops?
There was no resistance, but clearly I can tell that because if you're a foreigner, you can actually engage in more like wholesale. But for the petty trade, which is actually reserved for only citizens, I'm sure, of course, they know this is quite unlawful. So clearly, you have to just badge. You cannot resist it. So there was no form of, harassment or altercation. I'm picking the intel that it was actually done a night before. So clearly, there was no form of attack or violence whatsoever.
Thank you so much. That was my colleague George Queening there bringing us some updates on the enforcement exercise being carried out by the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association, where they are closing down the shops of foreigners enforcing the GIPC Act. We'll bring you updates on that particular exercise in our subsequent bulletins. But away from that, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has officially introduced Dr. Adrian Alta as its new resident representative for Ghana. Dr. Alta, who assumed office on September 2, 2025, takes over from Dr. Leandro Medina, whose 3-year tenure ended in August. He has already begun engaging government officials on the IMF-supported program and Ghana's broader economic outlook. There is more in this report.
The International Monetary Fund has a new face in Accra. Dr. Adrian Alta has formally assumed office as Ghana's resident representative, beginning duty on September 2, 2025, after arriving earlier in August to ensure a smooth transition from his predecessor, Dr. Leandro Medina. Dr. Alta, a senior economist at the fund with more than a decade of experience, is no stranger to Ghana's economic program. He has already commenced work on the 5th review of the IMF-supported program and is actively engaging government officials on the country's fiscal reforms, inflation control, and debt sustainability targets under the ongoing 4th review. His career spans major institutions, including the European Central Bank, Deutsche Bundesbank, and UBS Investment Bank, with expertise at the intersection of finance, policy, and development. He has contributed to IMF-supported programs in Ghana, Serbia, and Tunisia. With Ghana at a crucial stage in its economic adjustment process, Dr. Alta's appointment comes at a decisive time for policy direction and program implementation.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, away from that, Tallow Oil PLC has announced the appointment of Ian Pex as its new Chief Executive Officer. He will take up the role of CEO and join the board on 15 September 2025. Following the appointment, Richard Miller, who is currently Chief Financial Officer and Interim CEO, will return to his role as CFO. Ian has over 30 years of experience in the upstream oil and gas business and has worked extensively in Africa and other international locations. He has held senior roles at BG Group, Anadaco, and Total, covering all aspects of the industry. Now, the Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana is intensifying efforts to complement the Ghana Revenue Authority GRA in improving domestic revenue mobilization. The institute is worried about Ghana's weak tax culture, with only about 15% of the active population paying taxes, and is urging closer collaboration with relevant state agencies to expand the tax net and enhance compliance. Vice President of the Institute, Fred Awute, speaking on the sidelines of the swearing in of new executives led by Ernestina Christiana Apia, stressed that deepening partnerships with key stakeholders is critical to broadening the tax net.
If you look at tax education in the past, CITG do have played a significant role in the past, but the visibility hasn't been so much as we expect. So this time around, we are trying to introduced what is called workshop, continuous workshop, forum, tax educational forum, collaboration with University of Ghana, PSA, and other educational institutions in the country, and particularly other professional institutions like Institute of Chartered Accountant, and then the directors as well. And with these collaborations, we will make sure that we take the forefront in respect of tax education in the country. And with this, with the collaboration with other mother institutes like the ICA, I believe that we can actually move our tax training and tax literacy to the next level. In fact, we have to take charge of tax education. And then the tax training the institute must be at the forefront of tax education. And for that matter, we believe that with the new executive and with our president, we will be able to get to that level.
So that was Vice President of the newly sworn-in executives of the Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana, Fred Awute, bringing an end to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is Urban Blend and Black Rasta just walked in. Stay tuned.